Let's get you Sam Rose now. He's the acting director of UNRWA in Gaza. And Sam, we just heard from Tom Fletcher describing how he felt overwhelmed by the devastation, the destruction on the road to and in Gaza City. He spoke about recovery efforts. He talked about the resilience of the Palestinian people. Let's talk about recovery. What does that look like in Gaza at this point, as far as you can tell?
I mean, thanks, Becky, for having me on. I'm speaking to you from Amman today, but in close contact with my 12,000 staff in Gaza every day. We've been through post-conflict recovery in Gaza before, in other parts of the world before, but we've never been through anything like this. We're talking decades of work, several years just to remove the rubble, just to remove the ordnance that lies on the ground that poses a major risk to children, to aid workers, to civil defense workers. And we need a political environment in which this is permissible and is able to happen. What we've had in Gaza over several decades is donor-funded projects that have then been destroyed in subsequent phases of conflict and hostilities. So unless there is a political track, and that's the least that we owe the Palestinian people who've gone through all this, then all of this will remain a pipe dream. But we have the capacity, we have the will, and we have the spirit of the population of Gaza to make it work.
The immediate effort, of course, is getting aid and supplies in. So what is the situation on the ground? You've got 12,000 staff, as you say, on the ground. You should be, in a good position to give us a really good sense of what's going on and how the renewed attacks on both sides over the weekend have impacted that flow, and let's call it, in inverted commas at this point, because it's not enough, but that flow of aid that is getting in.
Yeah, look, the past 24 hours were devastating. We lost 4 people who were sheltering in an UNRWA school. Staff member lost her father, her mother, her brother, and other family members after 2 years of this. And the borders were completely closed. We had families that, for the first time, were allowing their children to play at night, and some of those children, unfortunately, didn't come back. And yes, like you say, the borders were completely closed. So people were already exhausted and shot to pieces because they felt that, albeit this would be precarious, that they were moving on to something else. Now the fear is that this just becomes the latest phase of the conflict and a new kind of type of confrontation. And the trucks have started flowing again today, but we're talking, like you say, far less in terms of the number of trucks that are coming in. And importantly, the types of supplies that are being permitted to enter are not sufficient. We're not getting equipment in that's needed to repair waterworks and water networks so that people, children, families have clean water. We're not getting educational materials, stationary backpacks in for children who are so desperate to go back to school. And my organization, UNRWA, we're not being permitted to bring anything in. And we're not the only organization that's not being permitted to bring anything in. NGOs also that are being blocked from entry of supplies. So yeah, the last few days have been a marked improvement on what we've seen in the past, but we continue to face major bureaucratic and political impediments in what should be the easiest place in the world for humanitarians to work.
Yeah. So is there any evidence that UNRWA is likely to be able to operate effectively again anytime soon?
I mean, look, there are a couple of things I would say. One is that we have not stopped operating throughout the conflict. The conflict in terms of the aid needs has also often been reduced to trucks and bags of flour. Now, those supplies are desperately needed, but a bag of flour and a food parcel will not turn the tide on a famine. What's needed alongside that is provision of basic services. And that's what we in UNRWA have continued to do. My staff, at great risk to themselves, have continued that for 2 years without a break. We're talking 15,000 primary healthcare consultations every day, water and garbage collection. So providing public health that prevents children from succumbing to infectious diseases. So the services continue, and those services need to be complemented with the aid supplies coming in. Quite frankly, I find it outrageous that we've got a population in famine, and my organization is not being permitted to bring the food that we have waiting outside into Gaza. We are being told that we can hand this food over to other organizations, but then those organizations are being told that they cannot involve us in the distribution of those supplies inside of the Gaza Strip. So we're still dealing with these aggressive impediments that are meaning that the starving people of Gaza are not getting the support that they need. We need all elements of the system here to come together. We're hopeful that with this new political track that there are opportunities, but we wait to see, and we call on those who have influence to try and make it happen.
So, given that you've highlighted the challenges that your organisation still faces, and we know that this has been an ongoing issue for you, and we hear your appeal today. I just wonder, finally, if you can talk to what Tom Fletcher described as the resilience of the Palestinian people. What about that sense? I mean, how much is the world asking for Palestinians to remain resilient in the days, weeks and months to come?
Yeah, I mean, I think we do I don't want to disagree with Tom, but doing the population a disservice to call them resilient. What they've gone through is unconscionable and unforgivable and unacceptable. And the world has let the people of Palestine, the people of Gaza down without, there's no doubt of that. But what the people show is an amazing spirit to continue throughout this. Existing becomes the purest form of nonviolent resistance. And a colleague said to me only this morning, love, hope, and light will return to Gaza. So there is this unfathomable spirit of the people, and we have to do everything that we can so that they have a future, that their lives and their futures are safeguarded, and the Palestinians in Gaza can have the same dreams, the same hopes, the same freedoms as the people of Israel, and as the people indeed of the West Bank deserve as well. It's extraordinary, the spirit that the people have shown over the past few years, but what they've gone through, we're only beginning to understand it. And hopefully, Becky, you'll be able to go to Gaza soon yourself, and I'll be there when you go, and you'll be able to see it yourself, and you'll be able to tell story of what people have gone through and what they continue to go through.
Yeah. Well, and we've been asking for access, of course, as international media organisations for 2 years. We remind our viewers that our Palestinian colleagues have done the most remarkable job in providing us with images and with sound on the ground. We continue to press for access, not just me, not just this organisation, but international organisations continue to press for that access. It's good to have you. Thank you very much indeed, Sam.